since some of you have not been following that long to or have caught the past videos and kind of how we do things, but I showed you guys the work boxes. Everything is color coordinated. We still do that. I keep their folders going and it works. So there are things going there according to subject. Everything is the same color. I use the same color code pretty much. Some may have a lighter shade here because this is my master schedule. Okay, and what I say by schedule is just everything that we do, and I will share this more in detail throughout the week and in no particular order. But what I did, it took me a little bit to do this, and it's also I can change it. This is coded. You guys don't know the code, you just see letters, but it's coded to fit our curriculum. So you will see copy work. That stands for McGuffies. Okay, you will see Bible. That stands for ABC Bible. That stands for Joyful Hearts. That is our character training, which I have shared. Old Testament, New Testament. And so what I do is throughout the week, I will go ahead and just put a dot next to these things when I am scheduling the week, and that gives me a big visual to see what all we need to cover to make sure that we're not just doing the same things over and over again each day. Even if we don't finish a lesson, we can go back to it the next day, but I don't want to keep doing the same thing every day. Some things are going to be repetitive, some things are not. Math, I have everybody's math book here. And the only thing I didn't include was supplements because I already know those. But that's pretty much what we have here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you got. Reading, again, McGuffies. You're going to see McGuffies, the MG. That's what this stands. It's all over the page because that's what we're using. So we're using McGuffies for grammar, reading, copy work, spelling. Yeah, so it's all over the page. But I took the time and figured all this stuff out and got it all laid out, and I can change it because it's on Google Docs. So when we flip, I'm using antiquated literature for grammar, language arts, and when we flip books, all I have to do is go back in and take out whatever code is there and enter the new book. So easy. Science, we use answers in Genesis. We have 3 components that we're choosing from with the this year. We have animals, earth, and human body. So I pick and we alternate moving through the books according to what we want to use. Sometimes we're just focusing on animals. We have not done earth yet. The only time we will hit earth is if in our geography we're using galloping the globe and cantering the country. Galloping the globe points us to science, so that's when we'll hit up earth. Other than that, I don't mess with it. I left the composer study and the artist study blank. I just pull them up and I will write in here whatever artist or composer we're doing. Our reading, we're either doing a bio or a chapter book. And so a bio also, you know, goes hand in hand with our literature. So whatever bio we're doing, they're going to have some work possibly in literature. We have our African American history, we have a bio, we have an inventor, we have a timeline piece. So that a lot of this stuff goes in our notebooks, but this is so far what I have done thus far, and it works beautifully. I've seen other people with other, you know, types, similar type system. Just plug in what you're using and go for it. This is specific, so it's really, even though it is on a doc, it's specific to us. So I really can't, you know, it wouldn't be any good in sharing other than kind of explaining you know what it is. And when I get into the curriculum sharing, I will share the books and go back to this and just show you so that you can get a whole visual of what's going on here. So that kind of works. Let's see, we have to get this week going. Let's explain something else. We have nature. We either do a study or a journal, so I make sure I alternate. Okay, we have narration. We're using antiquated literature, and that's a variety of resources I have in another binder. Or we're using first language lessons. No, not first. Primary language lessons. Not first language lessons. Primary. And a couple of components to that. So let's see, I'm trying to think of what else we're using in here. Spelling connections, or McGuffies. Okay, so it's really easy. And I have some notes because I never did the video, but to show you guys what the key stand for. It's a little key. So that's what that is. But that's how I do it. And then I have a spare just in case. And then on my actual lesson plan, I'm able to, after I hit these up, I go in and plug in the actual lesson that is scheduled. Now, as far as, let me show you that page. That is what goes on. Guys, see, I keep my records because they come in handy. So back to here, that's what I put on here. And obviously I can't fit everything, but most of the things I can fit because we're not doing everything at once I'm artist, composer. I have music and art together, and sometimes I'll put the art it ties in with the what am I trying to say, the nature. So all of that'll be here. It's enough room to fill in everything. And then so this is just my rough layout. I use the frictions because I can erase. I do not put an ending date because I found that when I write my plans, I thought I was doing by the week, and sometimes by the time I highlight, because I highlight, it'll be 2 weeks later. It's because we have so much in between to cover, and that showed me really how we were working. Not that it was bad, but I had enough laid out so I didn't have to keep repeating. But also we didn't overschedule. It gave me a realistic look at what was going on. So this may be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. And then I flip it, and then whatever happens here at the end of the day, I transfer. Instead of writing, sometimes I will pencil in there or use my frictions because I can erase. I'll just go ahead and write in the lessons here so I can see, because everybody has their own page, and I can erase if they don't get it done, or if I have to move it or something like that. So this really helps. But also something I found helpful is to not go in and fill out everything for the week. And this is not even for the week. I didn't put the end date. I wait till after the day is over and fill it in. That way it covers what they actually did rather than what I thought was going to happen. And that makes it so much easier to do it that way. Just keep this tracking the assignments rather than having everything here and then they're not getting it. Because I have my page. So my page is just the overall, of what I expect or what I lay out. So their actual lessons are going to vary because they're all in different resources and places and things like that. But I track their assignments. This really comes in handy because sometimes we may get to a point and I'm trying to remember when somebody did something. And I take this in the first, in my homeschool organizer. I transfer all of this. I take these out periodically, put them in there. That's my record keeper. There are some old ones in here. That's why you see so many with writing already. I need to take and clean out my binder. Yeah, I'm looking at something that says 2017. But yeah, so I'm really good at it, and I've been really consistent, and it works, because otherwise I would not know hairs from tails of what. So yeah, and usually what I do, like I said, I will take a yellow highlighter after they finish the assignment and highlight it. That way I know that it's done. It doesn't confuse me saying, okay, wait a minute, did I just write the assignment? And did they actually do it? I have to go back and check the book. So if I pre-write it before they actually did it, I highlight it, check it off. Once they actually did it and I put it in here, I still highlight it. That way I know it's done. It just makes things so much easier on my part to get these things in here. So yeah, that is how we are rolling with the scheduling and things like that. Like I said, I have been doing this for a very long amount of years, and it just works. Oh, I got some check marks. So I wasn't, yeah. I know green or yellow, so the check marks means the stuff was done. So a lot of check marks. And you know, like I said, if I don't see check marks on stuff or highlights on stuff, it just tells me that no worries. Now this was a week, looks like, and it looks like everything was marked off with the exception of a couple things. And so what happens if things don't get done, I will transfer it. And a lot of times if they don't get done, it's because it's a unit study, and so I transfer it to the next week. Like this says we were working on Egypt. This was the end of last year, and so all of that was transferred to January. So wherever January notes were, I think I filed them. I don't know why I kept this in here. I needed it for something, because I think I like to look back at the end of the year just to see what we ended with. But yeah, it looks like all these things were done, and I transferred the other page. So I'm going to take these out and put them in my records and go from there. So that little binder really comes in handy, my organizer as well. And one day I have shared a little bit on a live, a walkthrough of that, but I will share it. It is old. Some people have found it, and they have been very grateful, because you know, they don't make it, it's out of print, and it's so helpful because it has so many nice planning pages and things like that. They're very unique, but it works. The only thing I find is it's on a Monday through Friday scale, and we do Saturday, so I will pencil in Saturday, and I will pencil in Sunday if we have things on Sunday. So that's the only thing about it, but I've not found any other planner or anything that works. It just, I mean, the layout, there's not enough room, you know, I don't know. And I found that weekly assignment sheets for everybody, one individually, really makes a difference, rather than trying to put everything on one page. That's for my weekly spread, but trying to put their individual assignments on one little square did not work. So I don't do that. It just does not work at all. You guys let me know how you do your deal. And you know, there's so much in here. I have not gone through here. I keep note paper in here. I keep what else in here? reading, there's a reading list in here. So there's my notes and ideas. I've shared this before. This is a list of all the games that we have and the skill that they covered. So these are all of the flashcards that we have and the skills that they cover. Printable games that I've printed here, so I know what we have. If we're working on a certain skill, I don't have to think or leave it by the wayside. It gets used because I know to check my binder. We're working on blends. I will say, oh, okay, we have some blend clip it cards. Let me go find those. Attendance record. And so my organizer has masters of these. And so these are my copies. So this is what an attendance record looks like. But I take out 1 or 2 sheets of my masters, depending on what it is. The weekly assignment, you saw me pull out 4 or 2 at a time because it was 2 in here. But everything else I leave in there because it's just too big. And that binder's too big to handle on a daily basis. And I just don't want to handle because all the records are in there. So I just take out what I need and put it in my little organizer here. There's our Bible study deal. And so I have all of these in record, and this is what I fill out. So I'm getting ready to fill out one of these. And here's my reading list. And you see my red tab, it matches our reading for red. And so this is our reading list for this, I want to say this year. Actually, this started last summer. But it spans, and I have not written all of the dates in, but I write the dates in of what we covered. Some of them I just need to, like I said, I need to fill them in, and I can look at my notes and go back and fill them in. But some of these things are just things that we are going to be reading up and coming. And literature, these are literature, living books, so it's quite a bit. Like I said, I just make my copies of whatever I need. I think this is probably 50 on here. Yeah, this is 50. And I think it goes to 100. And this is what I work off of. So you see, we did the Elves and the Shoemaker, we did Abby, we did the Golden Goose. Trying to think what else, something I have shared with you guys that will look familiar. I think we shared a Pippi from the summer. I need to mark the date in there. Day of Occupant's Secret, I need to pencil that in because when Dixie, I need to pencil in the date. We're done with it. But as long as I have the books in here so I know what to pull the lessons from, the literature and the language arts, I'm fine. I'll worry about the dates later. But as long as I have the books, because if I don't have this, this is their assignments, their narration and their copy work. So I have to keep on top of the, and a lot of these are not, they're not full books. They're just short stories. So that's why there's so many of them in another page. But honestly, this is not even a lot according to what we cover. So if we were doing a narration every day, that's 5 days a week. So that would be 5 of these. And this wouldn't, it would be done quickly. But because you see, because of Winn-Dixie, some of these are actual chapter books. Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, we're reading that. So yeah, but in any case, all living books, so I will share these books in a stack. I will share them sometime soon. When I get the time, I will pull them all out, stack them up, and go through what we are covering this year, and so that you guys can actually see, this is what we're, get a visual, and then you'll see in the videos the lessons and things like that from these books. I always bring it back. It's not just something we're doing, I bring it back and show you so that you can actually see what we're doing with some of these books and things like that. This is why we have so many. But yeah, there's our last safe house. You know, we started with that with Underground Railroad, so I need to mark that off. And man, that's one of my favorite books in here. Just one of my, I love that book. I love that book for myself. A couple of these chapter books are very short. We read in a day. I'm trying to think. Turn Rock is on here. The light at Turn Rock, the lighthouse at Turn Rock. That's a really quick read. There it is. We did that one for December. And that was a lunchtime read. And, you know, it's a chapter book, but it's a really quick chapter book. It's less than 100 pages. I think it's probably about 80 something pages. But really good, very memorable lesson. And we were studying lighthouses. So, anywho, but yeah, I just want to kind of catch you guys up on the back end of things that we do around here. I do. The madness and what keeps me, you know, lined up, because like I said, it is a lot just to keep up with this and the records, and you know, so, but it does work. You know, you just have to find your own system, you know, whether it's a spiral, you know, an actual planner, find your method, you know. But like I said, the biggest tip I suggest is not to go in and fill out a whole week's worth of stuff, because you will find that you probably won't get to it all. Just do a master plan of what you have laid out so that you have enough things laid out. And then in the child's actual day, write in what they did. Alright, y'all. I will talk to you all in the flip. I need to get this done and get moving with some other things. But now I have to go in everybody's assignment sheet and put their subjects and things in here. But, yeah. These are a little spendy, but they are worth it. They really are worth it. The only colors I do not have that we actually use are yellow and orange. But these are gel pens, so they work. I just pencil in whatever this is, and then I'll go over it with my gel pens. I cannot find the other colors. Whew. So, you know, I have to keep my scripture, you know, that just gives me a mental break when I flip through and read. Let's see, and I haven't, yeah, go back to here. I need to catch up on, I keep their, in the back of here, I keep their math curriculum table of contents in here, and I just highlight off the units, and that helps me when I'm looking for games and other resources that we have. I can just look at their table of contents and pull that stuff out. So I just keep all that stuff in here, because sometimes I'm thinking I don't have anything to do, and that's one thing that I can do. So that is what is towards the back. So yeah, I stopped highlighting here. I'm sad. A couple chapters ago. I need to move it along, because we're way over here. Alright, so their word work. Oh, that was long. Trying to cut down on the saving my, I don't know, I'm just showing you all. But their word work is what I get from Teach at Daycare. It goes into their interactive notebooks. They work on the 5 words, and it's a couple of pages, different styles, and they get a word pretty much every day. Sometimes they'll do 2 words, and you know, that gives me some time. They sit there and they work on the word, they learn the word, spell it, and that type of thing. And that works out really well. To usually after their morning work, they'll do that, because they can do that stuff on their own and I don't have to worry, and then I can help everybody else with math. So they don't do them every day. I have them ready for every day if they choose to do them every day, but you know, I leave some flex time in case, you know, something happens. If they choose to do the word work, obviously I just draw a line, you know, an arrow, that way it shows me either way that they did it, you know, shorthand, shortcut. And at some point, like the daily devotion, I usually stop writing them because I know, you know, it's repetitive and I don't have to keep doing that. The same thing with the copy work. They do copy work every day, so sometimes I don't write it because I know that they do it. And their notebooks are they are dated, so that's that. Now this is the end of the week. The end of the week. Okay, I got them going for the first half of the week. So, or the end. These two for these subjects for the end of the week. So we have not plugged in any history yet, any art, any music lesson yet, foreign language, and science is down here. So usually what happens is I look at this and I find the least heavy day according to what we're doing. You notice they didn't have any math. That's because I've been working on math with the other 2 that really need help. So they haven't had math yet. But I'm going to get their math down, and they're going to start with math first tomorrow. They may do something logical like a word search, you know, or something like that. A game, and that way that'll give them some sort of math outside of the book. But I pick up, I have not, they read chapter books, so they didn't do any reading in the workbook, and somebody's actually finished the workbook, so yeah. They just started a new chapter book, both of them. So it looks like Wednesday is where I'm going to plug in geography. Put some more Bible here. Geography will also pick up on Friday. And so art, we need to get some art done. I'm going to plug in art tomorrow. Music lesson will start tomorrow. Instrument lesson. Their foreign language, let me see, yesterday, today, tomorrow, ASL, so it's not really that hard. Science, we are going to reserve Thursday and Friday for. They have started on science. I'm not going in any books or anything. They are outside. It's nature. They have brought in birds' nests and all that sort of thing, so that's where we're going with. I'm looking for more resources. Birds. We're studying birds still. We were going to move into fish, but we're still on the birds. So I'm going to plug those in here. I'm looking for some short visuals, videos, documentaries on that subject, that topic. And That's where we are. They did a narration on ducklings. So, I mean, we're still in the birds. So even though it looks like we might not have anything here, it's here. The art came in the narration. So even though there's no art here, the art was here. So it works like this. Go wash your hand.
I did.
Oh, put a little tissue on it.
Why there's glass in it?
Front. In the front. I moved it back to the front. So there we go. In the front. This is last month. Boop. Good because I'm out of ink. Okay, I don't have. No, we should not be in Spain. Germany. Our composers are in Germany. And do the work. No, we did not. Slight problem, but we'll just keep doing that work and just work on the composer. While everybody gets this in their notebook, so these I was forward on. Good thing everybody has a copy, and they have some copy work right here. So I'm gonna do the copy work. So we need to do this portion. We'll do the flag and the map later. Usually I try to keep them forward, but I made my copies and I did not make their copies. So let me get those done somewhere. We must be rivers. What we need to do. Oh, this is for Egypt. And then we have Spain coming up after Germany. We have been through these countries. Each year we add a different component, so now we're bringing in more of the science landforms and things like that. And that is suggested in here. We kind of talk about it, identify it. It's a file folder game, but now they're incorporating this into their notebooks. So I am a little prepared, y'all. I'm not all out of sorts, but I go through and make the things. And then we have Russia, Mountains, and yeah, I was prepared up until that point, so that's a good thing. It is possible. I haven't checked their folders, but it's possible that they have their flags and maps in their folders. I just, sometimes, yeah. Hopefully, and we already did Egypt. Egypt is already in their notebooks. So after Europe, I'll be going to Australia again, because I know we haven't done Australia. And New Zealand. Yeah, I don't know if the rest of this is in order. That's it for a bit of the countries. We're also doing the states, so it's a combination throughout the week when you see. That's why I just kind of leave it to figure out what. So if we don't do the flag and the map, we'll do a state flag and map instead, but go ahead with the composers and they can just identify those places in the flag on the map again, because they already know what it, I mean, they've done it once. But yeah, so that's how that looks. But I'm gonna put this back in my correct binder, or actually I can leave it in here. It goes in my my black binder. But, you know, if I don't keep prepared, sometimes this is what happens. So never underestimate. Well, this is looking like a pretty busy, interesting week. Oh, you know what I forgot? I started in science. I know what I want to do. It looks like I'm leaving everything tomorrow. Let me see. Somebody's I did, I think. Did I skip a little bit? Let's go back to the beginning. I thought I scheduled. Oh, I did too. This is Thursday. Parables from Nature. And they use the Christian Liberty readers, science readers. They use those every day. So that's just part of their reading. So they are getting the parables. We do narration and copy work, or narration, copy work, and
the puzzle back.
okay,
The puzzle back.
art in there. So that's why we have that. That's how we use that. Putting your puzzle away, I appreciate it. Because you just love puzzles. Like how you just know how to come in here and get that puzzle off that shelf, out that puzzle rack.